Welcome to Retrograde. This is episode number 61. Welcome to Retrograde. This is episode number 61, and today we're going to be discussing Road Rash. My name is Jack Marshall, and I'm joined today by Anthony Hobday.
Hello.
Neil Skinner.
Hi.
And James McFadden.
Hey.
So yeah, we jump in straight away. I shouldn't cheer. Yeah, Neil Lizanne's not here. Oh, she's ill. What's wrong with her, Neil?
She's got the sickles. No, it's just she's had a virus, so she's been under the weather. Yeah.
Oh dear.
So yeah, she's it's starting on Saturday morning, so she has got the whole weekend to get better, but it carried on until today.
Did she go back to school today?
Nah.
Oh,
So
because she's a teacher, not because she's a student.
Yeah. I think that's the logic left over from when you're kids. Is if you not well enough to go to school in the morning, you can't do fun things in the afternoon. So,
Kind of a punishment, isn't it?
Yeah.
But still a friend of the show, Neil.
Friend of the show, Neil's here. But get well soon, Lizanne, obviously.
Yeah.
We need you back. Yeah. No offense, Neil.
I think hers is the next game.
Oh, no. Is it?
Yeah.
We
I
can't
don't
reveal
know.
it yet, so even if it is, we shouldn't say what
Let's
it is.
curtail this conversation.
Who's got something they want to share? Who's got some...
I want to hear about Eurogamer.
You hear about Eurogamer? What do you want to know?
What was it like?
Okay, actually, here's some good points about Eurogamer. So obviously the Eurogame Expo was on Friday at Earls Court. I went up there. Why didn't any of you guys get tickets?
I was
Have a
gonna,
job?
but I forgot, and then they were sold out.
I have a job.
Yeah, you asked me like, "Oh, you were scarving off work then?" Like, no, I booked a holiday. What is this? Not Saved by the Bell?
I
or
said
something?
skipping work. I didn't think you were going to skip it without giving good reasons.
Guys, you want to sneak off to Earls Court today? Yeah.
Saved by the Bell. Do it in the Max. What's his name? What's the
Yeah.
guy's name? Max at the Max.
Well, I had to go into work and put a dummy of myself, like with a tape recorder in its mouth, and then sneak out the window so no one would notice.
A tape recorder in its mouth. Because when you're at work, you just have a tape recorder in your mouth.
And funnily enough, the productivity of the department tripled last Friday.
It was a good day. It was the best day in the office. No, so there's a few.
Because they thought they were being honest.
A few of things I've noticed. Point A, there was. I was amazed at how much kind of like services there were rather than games. Things like Twitch,
yeah.
and things like Virgin Media, and things like a lot more than there was the year before. Like there was a lot more kind of like Turtle Beach and store like Game and people like that. So it was surprising how I'd almost go as far as maybe a third of the show floor was like
It was quite
dedicated to
commercialised.
properties. Yeah, I mean there was still kind of gaming related.
That kind of stuff is a lot of conferences, conventions, though, isn't it? Because I mean, you've got like Comic-Con, which is basically there to sell you stuff. You've got all of the... I mean, E3 has a lot of game info and stuff, but
Yeah.
the other stuff that people like tour around for, that's mostly merchandise. I know there was the Dota 2 shop there. I don't know if you saw
Yes,
it.
I went over to the Dota 2. There was a lot of
I would have
tournaments
bought
and
all of
stuff.
that stuff.
But there was like, and that's the thing, there was a lot of games as well there that were like, they're obviously continuing the brand. So it was like Microsoft, Dota 2, Minecraft, Dota 2,
Yeah.
like Destiny, and FIFA. It's just stuff that was already out, and it was kind of strange. And the weirdest thing was, like Destiny, there was a competition on obviously and stuff, but people were still really queuing a lot to play Destiny.
Really?
I was like, this had been out for a couple of weeks now. It's a bit strange. But the 3 points I was going to make. The second one, which was really cool, the amount of women there was a lot higher, which is great. No, but I don't mean that in like a, oh, yeah. I mean, it was literally about 40-60 divide, which was awesome to see.
That's
it
good.
was actually really kind of like, wow, there's a lot of women here. Because when I've been to Eurogame for the last like 6 years, it's always male dominated.
Yeah.
And it was awesome to see there was a lot more. And the only other third thing I was going to raise I thought was really interesting was how much more indie games were kind of like commercialized.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we went up to the indie section and they had the Left Field collection, which was literally just guys who have set up a computer with their game running, and that was like the proper guys who've got no publisher support, nothing. They just written on the wall the name of their game. And then there was nothing in the middle. You then had massive indie games like Prison Architecture and the City of Illumina or whatever it's called and things like that. And it was just interesting how there were these now like Team 17 with Flockers and big publishing indie titles right next to them. It was like, it's just strange. I was just weird.
Well, they're not
seeing
really...
that.
There's this whole conversation going on, isn't there? Because they're not really indie devs anymore, are they? I mean, they're being published, if not by someone like Activision, then they're at least getting Steam Greenlight support or Kickstarter funding. You know?
And I'm not. It's not like I'm saying it's a bad thing, but because I do my freelance testing, it was interesting because I was going up to guys saying, "Hey, you know, how are you for QA?" And they're like, "Oh, actually, we've got the publishers QA.
Yeah.
They'll be doing it all for us." I was like, "All right." And it is interesting because to me, it's kind of like, if you've got published QA backing, that's a good sign that you're not really doing an indie game anymore. You're just doing a small-sized game.
I feel like these days indie just means they make their own decisions.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't mean independent anymore, and it hasn't for years.
Yeah,
I think
that's true.
the publishers just kind of have the final say on it, don't they?
Yeah.
The publishers have kind of taken a gamble that
Give them cash.
Yeah, give them a bit of cash, make the next Minecraft. If it fails, they'll be dropped. You know, just kind of cheap, easy time.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem even to me like it's necessarily that they get to make their own decisions, more so that they're just poorly funded. Like, the games are small scale, often 2D. They're just not AAA games. They're AA games, or single A games, if you will.
Quick run through of games. I'll do bullet point games.
Okay. Don't just read the Wikipedia articles.
I'll put these all in the show notes, but some games that are awesome. Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time was absolutely hilarious playing that.
Is that the one where
Brilliant.
you pilot the space station?
Yeah, and there's two of you, and one person's on
Yeah.
the guns, and one person's flying or using
Well, I
the
played
shield.
that thing that I will mention there.
Brilliant, it was really good. A game called Virginia. I literally just played a tech demo and I was sold on it. It was
yeah?
fantastic. And there was one called, it's either a Chorus of Light or a Light of Chorus.
Probably a Chorus of Light.
Chorus of Light, and it's all kind of like the visuals are always completely pitch black, apart from like imagine like I throw loads of like fairy lights on an object, then remove the object, as fairy lights remain. That's what it looks like.
You love lights, Jack.
I love
a
lights.
bit like the mocap kind of thing. Where
Yeah,
you see lots of, like, lit up ping pong
Really,
balls.
really clever game, and I was really enjoying it. But in terms of big ones, Evil Within, really shonky.
Whoa, really?
Not good. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm
won't-
super excited about that.
Won't
Though.
buy it. But Mordor, what's that one? New
Shadow of
one?
Mordor, getting
Really
good reviews.
Really
yeah?
good. Yeah, really enjoyed it.
That's the reverse of what I thought would happen. Damn.
What else? Alien Isolation. Looked alright. Looked pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good. Assassin's Creed Rogue. I literally went, what the hell is this game? I didn't even know this was a
is
thing.
that the 360?
It's the 360
Alright,
version of Assassin's Creed. They just like, let's just push out another Assassin's Creed game while we've got
Yeah,
time.
totally.
I thought it was Assassin's Creed Rouge, and it's about stealing makeup. Is that not?
Climbing up. I don't know.
Assassin's Creed Rogue sounds like another like male-dominated, male-designed game. What's this? We need Assassin's Creed Rouge.
Rouge.
You're a woman and you steal makeup from people. That's probably more sexist than putting out there.
Yeah, that's not good.
Assassin's Creed Roger.
Did
So you play someone's next door neighbour.
I would love to see an Assassin's Creed game that's like really dull. Like you're bullying your neighbour by like knocking down his sky dish every time he puts it up.
You can do all the
Yeah, or
climbing
any
stuff,
of the
the
Assassin's
parkour.
Creed games. Yeah.
You can do all the parkour, but you use it for the worst reasons.
So, does anyone have any questions about Eurogame they want to ask me?
Game of the show?
Oh, it was Virginia.
Oh yeah,
It was
Virginia.
literally just a tech demo for 5 minutes.
But what
so
was it? You didn't describe. Was that the lights one?
It's very like 30 Flights of Loving.
Oh yeah.
And what was clever, so you play like a detective and you're walking around and it's kind of like you get handed a case file. What was really clever, and it was like, so then you walk down to your police car, but you're in the station, but as you're walking along, it's almost like a film where it would just suddenly cut and you're walking down the stairwell, then it would cut, you're walking towards your car.
That is very.
And it was quite a nice way that it was still keeping you involved, but it was almost like cutting out bits of the story. So it was like a bit where you're at a murder scene and you're investigating a drawer, and as you open the drawer, it suddenly snaps and you're sitting in a bar and
Cool.
you're just sitting there smoking. Then it snaps back, he opens the drawer, he takes out this object, and he's like looking at it going, oh, what's this? And then he puts it in his pocket, and you're kind of interacting a bit minimal, but then you're back then it snaps back to the bar, and he suddenly goes, oh, you look at your pocket, you take out the object, you open it and start playing with it, and it was just really nice. It was telling a story, but it was just cutting between bits back and forth.
you're controlling it as you're doing this.
Yeah, you're controlling all of it. So
that's
very interesting.
I mean, I guess I'd never thought about it because it's never happened in front of my face before. But we've talked about the trend of games where they're becoming more and more cinematic, and they're
Yeah.
sort of trending towards being a movie. But yeah, you never see. One thing you always see in even cinematic games is that when you're controlling the camera, it essentially never cuts because that would make no sense. But usually in cutscenes, it would. But with that's quite interesting.
It felt a little bit uncomfortable at first, and I just got very used to it, and it was suddenly really cool. But yeah, there was a little bit when you'd suddenly cut, and whatever you cut to, it had to kind of be almost still, because like you cut and be like, whoa, what happened? If you cut to you driving a car, you'd be like, what the hell? And you
It's
crash
very
your car.
disorienting.
Yeah.
It reminds me of
Narcolepsy, the game.
It reminds me of two things, which are Half-Life 2, when you're having that brief experience where you're teleporting between place and place.
Yeah.
Very like that.
That was sort of like that, but also I know Fear had a lot of sort of scenes you were in where something scary would happen and suddenly the scene you were in would change.
Yeah.
So I guess they've already played with that, but mostly is it a horror game?
It's like a crime sort of thriller.
Okay.
Noir.
It made me think it'd be great to do a game like Memento, where you start at the end of the game and keep working your way backwards.
Braid kind of did that.
That's
What did?
true. That's
Braid.
true. Yeah.
It sounds
But like
interesting.
it ends with you killing the final boss, and then it cuts to you approaching the final boss.
Oh, there is a game
And
like
then
that
when you get
actually.
to
the end- I was just
There's
thinking,
literally a
you find
platformer
out
like
You
that.
play the end and then you go back
Yeah.
towards the beginning.
I can't
they've
remember what
already
it's called,
stolen your
but
idea.
yeah.
It ends with you're the bad guy all along. When you get back to the start, turns
Okay.
out you just broke out of prison and you've been killing all these random people.
Is that the end of your banner, Jack?
That's the end of my banner. Yeah, sorry, someone else talk. Something
No,
like
the
that.
boss at the end was killing the one guy who can finger you for the crime.
You can go back and become a toddler. You can become a toddler, then a baby, and then,
Then slide back up
I
into
love
your
when
mum.
Fallout 3 did that. Oh.
Slide back.
Oh. You discussed me after I was finished talking. Fallout 3, I remember you start as a baby. That was great fun.
Yeah, that was the best part of the game.
I never got past that bit.
Moving around slowly
I
and-
just stayed as a baby in the Vault
You're
game.
playing it real time.
So you're saying this game was like an interactive film?
Yeah,
As
pretty
long
much.
as it's not like Night Trap or Rogue Squadron from the 90s.
Oh,
where you
God.
had to...
No, it was-
yeah.
it's a
I
good
remember-
game.
Or Dragon's Lair. Those Laserdisc games where you
Dragon's Lair
press
was
X to
alright.
win.
That was okay. People like that.
I remember reading that great article about the guy who he really liked Dragon's Lair, and he found this. You could buy basically the key presses you had to do to beat the game in the back of a magazine. So he sent away for that because he really liked the game, and so he became perfect at Dragon's Lair because you can just practice it because it's all the
Yeah.
same key presses every time. And so he walked into this arcade in the middle of somewhere and saw there was a Dragon's Lair machine. So he gets on it and puts one credit in, and then just completes it in one sitting, and everyone was blown away. They didn't realise that he just knew everything.
So my banter.
Go on.
The Brighton Digital Festival has been happening.
Yep.
I didn't really know there was that comedy thing we went to as part of it, and also Charlotte and I found a pop-up arcade, is what they call themselves. It was in one of the like warehousey type buildings in town, and it was basically just kind of like a really really small game convention type thing. So there were like 5 different games there, but they were all really cool. They had a lot of nice decorations and stuff. But Gang Beasts was there. But one of the guys who made Gang Beasts was there. They had a few developers from the different games. There was an Oculus Rift there, and one of the Rift games they had there, it was just running on someone's laptop. It was like you were controlling a spaceship, and your co-pilot was this dog, and he'd give you instructions and stuff. And they had like a synthesizer pad, with like knobs and buttons, kind of like the mixture you're using for this.
Yeah.
And in the game, there was a corresponding like console controller thing that you were using to like do the commands on the ship and stuff. And so when it said like turn the knob this way, you had to turn the real knob like that way that you were seeing it in the Rift.
That's awesome.
It was a really cool use of the VR stuff. And it was a cool little sort of Brighton thing, it's a type of improvised sort of experience that you don't really get.
So the
in many
guys
other
who made
places.
Gang Beasts are called, I think, Bone Loaf, and they're 2 brothers who I think are in Leamington Spa, but I'll have to confirm that. But yeah, it's a UK-based development studio, I believe. Or at least one of them might be based in America, but there's 2 brothers who are working on it.
There was also a game that you controlled with a keyboard, like a piano keyboard, and it would like spawn like cars and buildings and stuff where the cursor was. It was confusing, but yeah, it was a good time. Second piece of banter: I started and completed the second series of The Walking Dead, which was fantastic and possibly better than the first one. And you should get on that.
Mixed reviews.
Yeah, well, I mean, the reviews don't tell the whole story, Jack. I thought it was fantastic. I can get the complaints, but
I will
don't.
get round to it one day.
One day.
One
Interesting.
day in the
Okay.
future.
What I find strange is that, living in Brighton is one thing, and having friends who are involved in the game industry is a second thing, but it's still strange to me how I see people talk, like, because you test indie games
Yeah,
in your spare time.
for fun.
Tofu testing,
And money.
Tofu
I believe
testing.
is the name of your company.
That's right, yeah.
But,
Just did roundabout.
yeah, you'll talk about games you've tested, and I'll see them, whatever, and then I'll see people in America talking about this new indie game coming out, and that's a bit strange for me to see people on a forum in America that I have no idea who they are, talking about a game that you've tested, because it seems like living in Brighton you get a much bigger connection to some pretty famous game
Totally.
companies.
I saw a Total Biscuit post on Twitter about that.
Roundabout.
Yeah.
He's a friend of the developer, Dan.
Oh.
And yeah, we've got to remember these, and the thing is that's great whenever I go to like the Eurogame, when I go there to chat to the guys who are making these games, they're always incredibly humble. They're always just like, they're so excited about, like I was talking to the guys who are making a Chorus of Light, and they were really like, I say to them I do QA indie testing, they're like, what you do? But it's not really, it's really something, and whenever they get coverage in newspapers, they're so excited and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's generally good, but then obviously there are the indie developers who let that go to their head, who won't name.
Phil Fish.
Yeah.
I watched a video called This Is Phil Fish. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it was legit. All right. Okay.
Fantastic video.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Any banter from you two, or are you still going? Or
No. I don't know if Neil has any.
Neil?
Well, I'm currently in the process of moving house. So literally this morning, someone offered on my current place. It's very exciting.
Ooh.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah, very good.
Good stuff.
Did you do the bit in theme park where like you went to shake hands, but then it started slowly pulling away from each other, and then you started going in again like that? back and
That's how
forth?
house sales
That's
work.
how it works. I've
Just
been
like
told.
that, yeah. It was just
My idea of business is just that.
And then you put more salt in the ice cream.
Yeah, more
And
sugar in
then
the
once the
colour.
cookies run out, you can't do the deal anymore. Do you remember that? Anyone else play theme park?
yeah,
I just
yeah,
talked
I
about-
Of course
remember
I did.
We had a year ago. There was back to me again. There was a cosplay event, and I thought the best cosplay would be to turn up with just a giant head of the guy who does theme park.
That would
Remember the character that was like big yellow hat on him?
I think
just
coming as one of the
rocking
rides would have been the best cosplay.
What?
That'd be difficult
Turn
though.
up as that purple ghost house. Just have like an entrance at the front and an exit at the back. Ew.
Or as a giant, drink
yeah.
or a giant bag of chips.
Yeah. And then just constantly people complaining about me that they want to get off me and stuff like that. That'd be good.
It's like in real life.
Yeah, just like in real life. Anyone else anything to share? Nothing interesting going on gaming wise? Come on, Anthony.
I don't-
Anything good?
I don't think so. I already spoke about it the last time I went to video game karaoke.
Yeah. What are you playing at the moment? Any games?
I mean, right now I'm playing
Tales of...
Black Ops 2, so that's not really.
We play. Bit later
Really?
party.
Wow.
Yeah, I wait until they get down to
Subversive.
£10 and then I buy them. Because I don't really play the multiplayer for more than about a week, so
Is that
they're not
right?
worth the full price.
So now I bought LA Noire for £1. Been,
No.
been enjoying that.
That's a good deal.
On eBay,
Such a good game.
99p.
Really, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great.
I thought it was
was
just good for
enjoy-
the faces.
It was
Yeah.
enjoyable.
faces.
Yeah, because they do all the faces.
It's an easy play. That's the thing. I just like the fact when you're looking at stuff on the table, he just kind of points stuff like a toddler would. It's like you can't see
Yeah.
because this is audio, but it's like, shall I look at this or shall I look at this?
I love-
And just the way he just points at stuff like.
I like
trying
when
to
you're
order 'em.
interviewing them, and it's obviously they've only captured a certain amount of motion capture, so the guy will start putting faces going like, and then after a while just go still again, just go. It's like, did you catch my face? Because I'm not doing it again.
Those bits were a bit strange for me because there were some times when she pulled a really strange, unusual expression,
Yeah.
and I was like, "You're lying, bitch!" And it turns out she was telling the truth, and she's like this recently widowed woman just trying to get on with their life.
I was rubbish at reading their faces.
Mm.
I was constantly like getting aggressive. And they were like, "Why are you shouting at me?" It's like an old woman crying.
Yeah,
I'm
it
like,
was-
"Tell me the truth."
It
Those
was
are
cool
some of the most
technology, but it wasn't.
expressive people in the world, though.
Huh?
Most expressive people, they always just put a slight face just after they say
Yeah,
something.
it's
True.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
People don't do that except in soap operas.
It's not going to be very funny for radio, but yeah, they've got to like, "No, I didn't see a knife."
I'd say that would be most funny
It's
for
like when
radio.
you're texting someone, you put like emoticons at the end just to sort of like force the
Make it
emotion you're trying to go.
Smiley
It's like-
face, wink. Yeah.
I think they should have had the characters looking at the camera after they said something that was obviously a lie. It's like, yeah, you know. This guy's had the wool pulled over his eyes.
They wink at the camera and someone plays a triangle.
Or they just turn and put their hand over their mouth and go, "I'm lying," to the camera and then turn back to the person.
Or if they said the name of the game, and, like, what is this? Some sort of LA Noire? Look at the camera.
Da-da-da-da. What I did like about it though is you can actually. I mean, I hate the driving. I like the driving bits, but I just couldn't be bothered with them. You can just say like, "Oh, you drive," and you don't have to worry.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think they realised that wasn't the draw of the game.
No, because GTA you can spank around and knock things over and crash, but that's kind of not the aim of the game in LA Noire. You just want to kind of
Yeah.
get there and do your stuff.
I felt very serious driving in LA Noire as well. I don't know why. Like in Grand Theft Auto, I don't care. Like I'm
Do your serious
giving
face.
like a girl a lift home from a date, and I'm just jumping over rivers and stuff. And she's like,
Yeah.
"Thanks for a great day." It's like, you should be terrified, love. But LA Noire, I was like, drive carefully, red light. Oh, stop. Yeah, it's good.
But speaking of Call of Duty, though, one thing I noticed, I've been watching gameplay video for Advanced Warfare.
Yeah.
Because it's the first time they've done something quite new with it, which is not just the future stuff, but it's also the jump pack, whatever they have. You jet around on it.
The Titanfall.
Yeah, so I wondered, because Titanfall was essentially a break-off development from
They're
Infinity
still
War.
developing the games for them,
Infinity
just
Ward.
months in advance.
Respawn. Yeah.
Yeah, so Titanfall did all that, and then now Advanced Warfare has taken this jetpack mechanic, and I'm wondering if they're just being that blatant, because usually Call of Duty kind of leads the charge, and now they're sort of following.
They never led the charge.
Yeah, no, everyone was copying Call of Duty.
Yeah, but what's Call of Duty copying? I mean, I remember in
Previous Call of Duty games.
in Call of Duty 2, they had that crosshair, like the little cross icon whenever you got hit on someone,
Yeah.
which was ripped straight out of Battlefield 2.
Medal of Honor.
Was that Medal of Honor?
Well, no, I mean, if you were saying where did Call of Duty come from, Call of Duty came from kind of like Medal of Honor Allied Assault was kind of
Oh yeah, totally.
Counter-Strike.
spiritual.
as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was kind of like that.
I
so-
think the one thing that Modern Warfare 4 innovated was introducing RPG mechanics to action games, which obviously has completely infested the industry now.
Yeah.
But aside from that, in that one game, I don't really see them as being
I know.
One
trailblazers.
thing I think correct me if I'm wrong, but the kill cam in multiplayer.
Oh, that
Call of
was
Duty,
good as well. That was good, yeah.
That was good because you always say, "How did he see?" Oh, it's actually stuck out like a lemon. Yeah, because I remember in Counter Strike, everyone accused you of wall hacking, and it turned out no, you were just prancing around in the open.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
I always missed that in games I was playing that didn't have it. I was like, Call of Duty has this stuff. Why can't I have hit markers?
Yeah, I thought that when I'm playing Mario.
What game doesn't have hit markers these days? Come on.
Well, all of them do, but back in the day when I was playing Quake 3,
Oh.
you got a hit ding.
Yeah.
A ding.
Dunk.
And if you were playing Unreal Tournament, it didn't have dings, and you wanted them. It's like, so you could install a mod that would ding. That was fun.
Vital, that was vital.
Anyway,
Competition time.
Paul Monahan giveaway, is it?
Paul Monahan giveaway. Who was at? Oh, yeah. So at Eurogamer, I put loads of our business cards all over the place.
Nice one.
I was going to put them in the toilet because I figured that's going to be the most popular booth that people visit all day.
The
so
toilet
might get our
booth.
business cards. So if you're at Eurogamer, you might let us know if you picked up one of our badly spelt business cards. But what I did, I walked around the retro area. Everywhere I saw a Retro Asylum flyer, I put our business cards on top.
that makes it more like a
everywhere.
partnership than a
Yeah, it
competition.
does.
No,
So
We're
they've
all
been good
friends.
to us, so
no, I'm only joking. It wasn't all of them anyway because they've got. We need to do flyers. Flyers are the
we
future.
don't need to do flyers.
Flyers are not the
Bus-
future. Flyers are
business
the
cards.
past, my
Yeah.
friend.
Business cards are
Emails
not
are the future.
Emails are the flyers of the
Can you get
future.
Can you get it spell checked first?
Yeah, I always got to listen again. If you
Send
were
it to
there, to be honest though, I put them down. Came back an hour later. Still all the cards were there. So
People are
don't-
taking pictures with their phones. They can do that now.
Emailing it to themselves and their friends.
Yeah.
You said that
I
the
should just left R codes. What are they called? Those R codes.
QR
things.
codes.
QR codes.
Yeah, no one does.
no one
Check them.
uses those.
Future hieroglyphs, as I like to call them.
You said that future hieroglyphs.
Hieroglyphs. It's clever.
You said you can't decipher them unless you have a smartphone. You said was there the Rosetta Stone back in the day for actual hieroglyphs? But you said that the toilet was the most popular booth
Yeah.
of the event. I was wondering if any developers cottoned onto that and set up in there. It's like, did you want to play? Did you want to play? I can't remember any of the words that you said. Any of the names.
Just standing outside a cubicle going, do you want to play a game? Just come in this cubicle with
What was
me.
the one with light that you
Dump
said?
Simulator 2000.
What was the one?
A chorus of light.
Do you want to play Chorus of Light while you're doing that, sir? It's like, yeah, right. Oh, this is quite good. It's like you're throwing fairy lights and stuff in it.
It's tap screen. No, I just figured, like, because obviously everyone's putting stuff all over the place, all over the consoles, cards everywhere, so I figured put mine in the toilet. Bound to
Actually,
get-
in the toilet.
not in the toilet, yeah. I could have
Because that's where they're looking.
Jack,
When they're
think
using
outside
it.
the box, Marshall.
Anyway, but yeah, Paul Monahan was there. I didn't get to say hello, apparently. But anyway, Paul Monahan giveaway, let's do it.
Yeah, the new Paul Monahan. We were giving away copies of Skulls of the Shogun,
Yay.
Orcs Must Die 2, not as well, but the sequel too. We covered that last episode. And Frozen Synapse, which I think is the second time we've given this away. We've got a lot of repeats. And the winner is John Matthews.
Yay. He's a new one.
His username is Star Fury Zeta, which is that sounds like
Good
a
name. It's a
awesome
great
weapon
name.
or
It's a
something.
powerful
Yeah, I
name
know
for an
that.
otherwise normal name.
I'd name my sword after that.
I think if I was on a spaceship and the guy who was like at the helm said Star Fury Zeta is docking with us, I'd be like, we're screwed basically. That's a powerful name. That's not a pleasure yacht, is it? In space, they're going to mess you up.
Then you find that the captain.
They've got
Then you find the captain's called John. And it's like, oh, that's all right, fine, why not? Brilliant.
no in sci-fi books they call them yachts still because they're based on ships, I guess.
In what sci-fi books do they call them yachts?
They have pleasure yachts in space.
Like what?
Because they use
Who writes about these space-based pleasure yachts? Where are you getting this from?
Flying through space with all these like hunky guys dancing on the dock.
Why are there hunky guys? Where's that coming
Just a
from?
pleasure, yeah.
They would die. It's zero. It's like a vacuum out there. They
It's
can't-
0
They're wearing
degrees, Jack.
helmets.
wearing helmets, getting very cold.
Dancing.
Can't hear the music, but hey, let's dance.
No, in a lot of science fiction books, they use boat terminology to describe spaceships because they're still ships, right? So they call them yachts and things sometimes in some
Alright, fair
books.
enough, no, I believe
Like the mariner's first interstellar space journey.
Anyway, if the pleasure yacht Star Fury Zeta came at you, you know there's lasers involved somewhere, right? They're shooting sexy lasers at you at least.
It won't be a pleasure, it'll be a dinghy. And s'mores. This guy's rowing across
Anyway,
space.
congratulations to Star Beta Fury Zeta.
Yeah, John Matthews. Which is less. If John Matthews came to dock, I would not expect lasers. But if Star Fury Zeta did,
Hope you're enjoying the airtime, my friend.
yeah, he's won Skulls of the Shogun, Orcs Must Die 2, and Frozen Synapse. And tune in next time for your chance to win Field Runners 1 and 2. Little bit of
Sweet.
tower defense there.
I enjoyed those.
And Antichamber. I think the way you should approach it is play Antichamber until your brain hurts, and then play Field Runners 1 and 2 because that'll let you relax because it's a bit more.
Anti-Chamber was one that won the Unreal competition, didn't he?
Oh, Anti-Chamber, yeah, it's a good game. It's a good game.
Yeah, it's like
very
Portal, but not as good.
non-Euclidean, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sounds like your house.
What you think is around a corner is not around a corner.
It's around the last corner you went round.
Turn around, it's a different corner again.
Inside
Do you
you.
not like that in games where it's like, oh, you're carrying a barrel, no longer it's a puppy. It's just like
That's not non-Euclidean.
constantly tricking you. It's like, oh,
That's not
tricky.
That's not the same thing as non-Euclidean.
oh, what does that mean?
It means like geometry where you go around a corner and it's not what you
Oh,
expected.
okay.
Jack, we're saying non-Euclidean. You're hearing nonsensical.
I thought
Like barrels that
I thought
turn
you
into
were getting
puppies.
annoyed when games like trick you.
This does trick you, but
also,
with...
games don't. What game are you
games
playing
trick you all the
where a
time.
barrel turns into a puppy?
I don't know, but
I'll just carry this barrel over to this. Oh, it's a puppy now. I needed to weigh down this, but I can use the puppy still, I guess. Oh, the puppy's wandering off
I had to prop up this seesaw.
with a puppy.
That's my favourite puzzle in any game where you have a seesaw and you have to put blocks on it and climb up the other side.
But it's puppies in
Brilliant.
this one.
Anytime, yeah, all puppies on the block. They
The puppies
running
keep
away.
wandering off. That's a terrible
Yeah,
puzzle.
Need to
brilliant.
get a steak.
So we are here to talk about. I was about to say.
Oh, wait, hang on a second.
Oh, sorry.
We're going to put the details on Twitter. Retweet
yeah.
those. We've been talking about the competition for so long. Retweet those, and you could be in it to win it for a chance to win Field Runners 1 and 2 and Anti-Chamber, where there are no puppies, but there might be barrels.
At
Is there any
Retrograde
yachts?
Show.
No yachts.
No yachts.
And you might be
Retro-
talked about at length as well.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
might talk about you at length if you have an
If
interesting
your
name.
Twitter name is funny, we're gonna talk about it.
If your Twitter name isn't funny, you'll know because we won't mention it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Right.
kind of weird. We're really the harshest judges, but we don't make it obvious, except for right now.
But we do judge.
We
Yeah.
still give the game, so to think of it as a, a slap in the
Consolation prize.
cup. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slap and a
Constellation prize.
Consolation. Oh.
Yeah, don't correct me. It's a joke.
No, I thought you were making fun of me for mispronouncing it. I'm like, I'm not Jack.
Anyway,
Okay.
anywho,
That was harsh.
Anyway, so we're here to talk about Road Rash. Oh, at Retrograde Show, that's a Twitter address.
Yeah.
We're talking about the game now.
Road Rash. And yeah, so people listening know last week, now we've got these new professional voiceovers coming in. So we've got the same person we got last week called Red Hollocks to do our intro to introduce us to Road Rash.
Road Rash is the name of a motorcycle racing video game series by Electronic Arts, in which the player participates in violent, illegal street races. The series started on the Mega Drive and made its way to various other systems over the years. The game's title is based on the slang term for the severe friction burns that can occur in a motorcycle fall, where skin comes into contact with the ground at high speed. The basic gameplay is similar to Sega's Hang On. The player competes in illegal road races and must finish in either third or fourth place and up in every race of a level in order to proceed to the next. The game became a fan favourite, leading to an impressive 5 different sequels made during the 90s. But now, I'll hand you back over to the Retrograde team. Bacon.
Thanks for that. And we're still doing offers for, like, if you've got a blog, podcast, or anything you want to promote, get in touch with us on Twitter and you can be our guest voiceover. instead of-
Basically, Jack discovered Fiverr and his mind exploded.
been buying so much stuff on Fiverr.
You've been buying the same thing like over and over again.
Repeated voiceovers.
There's one of a guy who will dance, if you give him payment Fiverr, he will send you a video of him dancing in latex singing you happy birthday.
How attractive is he?
£5.
Hopefully we can use that for the podcast.
$5, so like £3, 4p.
Is that
Worth
the
it. Worth
so
it.
you can get celebrities, can't you, to record? Is this what the service is?
Yeah, well, no, you can't get like real celebrities.
No, there is. I think there's one that you pay them like $20 or something, and you'll get
Oh yeah, they go up and up. You can get people that record a whole book for you if you pay them like $100.
$100 whole dollars.
I was tempted. I mean, something like I was tempted to do one for $5 and just write gibberish like. I was like, do it in a Scottish accent though, just to see. I feel
Got you
like
covered there,
the
man.
power-
We could get James to do that.
That's what I've been
Yeah.
doing all show, every show.
the power is going
Talking
to my
gibberish.
Yeah.
In a Scottish accent.
The power is going to my head on Fiverr.
Except it's not power. You're spending money. It's not like you have the
You're
power. of these
exchanging power
I'm
for
like
good.
dance for my £5.
But that's like me saying I have a power over builders, and like I give them money and they make me a house. The power. They're just building a house, and it's like you've paid them money to do that, though. It's like
Yeah, I
yeah,
just described modern society.
yeah, power.
Capitalism.
Money is power. But
That's why I'm standing at Sainsbury's at the checkout going, just laughing at them.
soon I will leave with all this food.
Providing me with goods.
I've taken your precious product.
All I had to give them is paper.
Money for
Food.
goods and services.
And then your boss rings up. The circle is complete.
Oh, well, talking about money, now's a good time to mention the Retrograde Show and all our sister podcasts on Psycon are
God.
sponsored by tweetaudio.com.
Did we have to?
So if you're thinking about buying some new headphones, head over to tweetaudio.com because it's James's favourite website and it's all in one word as well.
It's my homepage.
They've got all shapes and sizes of headphones, and if you use a promo code, what code is it, guys? All at once?
I think it's Retrograde.
Yeah, when purchasing, you'll get 33% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty.
Is that retrograde all one word, or retrograde 2 words, or 3
Retrograde
words?
one word, one
Capitalized,
word.
all caps.
Lowercase. I've experimented with it.
All
Give it a whirl.
lowercase.
Silent Q. Don't
there
forget
any-
the silent Q.
No punctuation.
Yeah, so check
Semicolon
out
at the end.
tweakedaudio.com and if that sounded really badly, that's because your headphones aren't good enough, so go buy some.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about Road Rash. Who chose this? It was you, Anthony, wasn't
It
it?
was me, yeah.
So, Road Rash, why? What's going on with Road
I
Rash?
don't believe, because regular listeners to the show will know my extremely boring story that my brother had a Mega Drive or a Genesis.
I don't think you've ever told us that one, actually.
I have, multiple times, even probably on the first episode. But I don't think this is a game we had. It was more the sort of thing I played around friends' houses. Mm-hmm. But it's so dynamic to look at. I mean, there are so many racing games from that era. Like, I remember playing a game called Lotus.
Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge.
I'm not sure if that was it. There was a game, but it was a racing game on the PC. And I really enjoyed it, but they were so much less dynamic than this. And I think because you're on a bike and you're leaning about and you're jumping and there are gradients and it's just so fun to look at. So I chose it because I think it's really impressive for a racing game of the era.
Is there a term for games where you're kind of like forever progressing towards the horizon? Like Space Harrier and Super Hang-On and stuff. I don't know if there's a term for
Wistful
those
games, Wanderlust games.
But you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what this technology was called. I want to say something like parallax scrolling or something stupid like that, but it's not that. But where you're constantly
it is.
going towards the horizon.
Well, there is parallax scrolling in it.
I think it's mostly parallax scrolling, right?
Yeah, it's common for like most 8-bit and 16-bit consoles to have this kind of this weird like plane that moves towards you and you kind of skirt around on top of it.
I love that even there's like even the rear view shots. So like we've got so much technology, let's put rear mirrors in. 2 of them, not 1.
It's a visually impressive game, and I still think so. And
It's lovely and quick as well.
I think you'll find there are no trees in those rear mirrors.
no, the rear view is a bit minimalised. But I mean, there was this whole raft of racing games, probably because it's the only way they could do them at the time, where essentially you're not moving the car or the bike, you're moving the track.
Yeah.
But Road Rash does a lot more than some games of like Outrun is a good example of a racing game where you can tell it's just the track moving because the car hardly moves at all. But in Road Rash, it's so there's a lot of movement. I don't know what that.
It's very
You
frantic.
You
Very
say you
skittish
can.
game.
You say you can tell that it's the track moving and not the car. Is that like? Can you? How do you know when you're walking down the street outside that it's not the world moving beneath your
I'm not
feet,
about to start
right?
a conversation about relativity with
Well,
you.
come on, man. That's like how can you tell in that game? How
because
do you
this
know
was-
that's the
no.
case?
James, this was programmed that way, whereas the world is a certain way that we don't fully understand it.
I sometimes feel like I'm just drifting through life. I won't lie, guys.
That's mental, not physical. We're talking about relativity.
Carry on.
But no, what I mean is they've programmed it a certain way to give the illusion of you moving the bike when really it's the track that's moving and the bike stays essentially in the same place.
But that's a meaningless statement. It doesn't mean anything. None of this is moving because it's all virtual.
No, but okay, you're going too deep.
I literally know, but you've actually lost me because
I think you're trying to say that the bike's animation in relation to the environment is really swell done.
Swell done?
Swell done is swell. It was. It's that he's got a lot of movement. He's left and right. His knees are going down. His dirt hitting the floor.
Whereas in similar
It's quite-
car racing games like Outrun, it's more that they're animating the track than the car.
Like I know what you mean. Like Space Harrier. As much as I love the game, when he's running, the background's moving so fast. His legs aren't running fast enough to match the speed of which the background is. But this, the biker in relation to the environment, it looks very natural.
And to make it clear for James's understanding, because I don't think I made this clear enough, is I'm comparing it to modern games where it's all 3D, and it is literally a car moving around a track, and the track staying still in terms of the engine. They're not moving the track around your car.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know that though.
No, but that's another, again, a conversation about like relativity in game design, which is not what I'm talking about.
Appropriate venue.
It's not an appropriate venue.
Blimey.
This is not physics
Road Rash
in the
guy.
game world. What do we really know? Episode 14. James is like, yeah, but is it relativity or...
Who's really playing the game? Well, I'm thinking. Is the game?
Are you playing the
me?
game or is it playing? Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
It's not Soviet Russia.
Scares me.
Sorry, there's a bad guy called Bob
Yeah,
and Butch.
Bob's a bit cooler than Butch.
How do we feel? See, I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to be a bit brutal. I didn't like this at all. I didn't enjoy it. I just
Did
couldn't
you
get
play
into
it when you were younger?
I had Super Hang On because I was a grown ass man, sort of.
Wasn't that the one that was in arcades?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
big
had
bike?
an Atari ST. I think it was called Hang On.
And then Super was when they bumped it up.
I think so. Yeah. No, actually, to be honest, I like the fact it's still it speeds very fast, but this Outrun, Super Hang-On, Afterburner, these like Space Harrier, I like all these games, but they are for me. They're now just arcade games. They're just a blast of like 5 minutes, and that's it. I couldn't. This went on and on, level after level after level, and I got bored.
It is hard to stick with. I realised partway through playing it, one of the reasons I like it so much is because it reminds me a lot of Burnout. Mm-hmm. Because you're trying to take down other racers, you're trying to avoid the police and other cars. It's got a lot of the same themes, and I wouldn't be surprised if Burnout was inspired partly by Road Rash.
I did like the fact that it was very fast, and even now I was playing, I was like, whoa, that was a close one. Other problem I had with the game is the fact that, as much as people go, is I didn't like the punching mechanic. It bothered me because it was like, this is just Super Hang-On, and they've gone, what should we do to make it different? How about if you could punch the other riders? That sounds good. And it's like a whole game based around a very violent thing that I don't like, which sounds stupid because I know a first-person shooter is obviously you shoot stuff. Obviously, you give someone a gun, what you can do with it, you're going to shoot someone. But you give someone a bike, doesn't mean instantly, like, what should we do with a bike? Let's punch someone. Yeah, that'll
Hopefully
do.
they'd use it for self-defense only, Jack.
What most listeners won't be aware of is the fact that Jack is actually a devout pacifist.
But it just bothered me. It's something about...
But if you give him a gun, he will shoot someone.
But, like, it was called Road Rash, I guess, because obviously Road Rash when you burn your leg on the floor.
Is your main criticism that it's not called Punch Rash?
But, like,
Punch Rash.
No. It's more the fact that it's just like, I'm riding on a bike, I'm having fun. If you didn't tell me you could punch people in this game, I probably wouldn't have discovered it. I'd just played the game normally and been happy and been like, why are these riders punching me all the time?
There's only 3 buttons, though.
Yeah, I know, but you know what I mean?
Drive, stop, punch.
It would be like, I don't know, it'd be like making a game like, I don't know, Mahjong. And for
You mean Mahjong?
Mahjong or whatever. And then for some reason they go, how can we make this game different? Let's put a button in where you can just slap your opponent. And it
That would be so good.
That'd be good, actually. I'd be
Mahjong where you can slap... I mean, there's no opponent, but...
It'd be like having a garden simulator where every so often you could just kick a bug for some reason.
Oh, so good.
What kind of bug, though?
You're just designing all my favourite games without knowing it.
It's just...
A ladybug?
Whoa, that's sexist, man. Don't slap ladybugs.
Kick them.
Don't kick
Don't
them.
kick ladybugs. This is
I'm not doing anything to
2014.
ladybugs, I'm just saying.
It's illegal.
But I'm going to stop talking because I know Road Rash is a cult classic and I'm probably talking about my
Okay, I'll go next. Road Rash, more like train crash, train wreck. More like a train wreck of a game. This game sucks. I'm done. Anthony?
Yeah, but why? Why,
Neil
though?
wants to talk, I think... Oh, no, go on.
But why, though, James?
It doesn't... It's not fun to play. I played it when I was a kid. And it's just too jerky. The frame rate is really bad, and usually I don't care about that sort of thing. But it gets in the way too much.
You were counting the frame rate.
No, I was joking.
He was joking.
I thought you were actually trying to count.
No.
it.
He was doing one every second. It's not.
But it's too jerky. It never felt good to play. It's too. What I'm pressing on the controller doesn't correspond to what's happening on screen quick enough for my liking.
But I felt like that was a reflection of the bike's handling and that sort of thing.
Maybe. I mean, I've never liked motorbike games anyway. I hate the modern simulators and stuff.
Are
but
there many modded?
Yeah, MotoGP. Yeah, it's a
of
thing.
course, MotoGP games. Yeah, you're right.
But no, I just never got into it, and I still can't. No.
Neil?
Well, I like it because it's just beautiful and simple. I mean, yeah, it does move very quick, which I think at the time only the Mega Drive could do because it had a pretty decent CPU.
Blast
compared to everything
processor.
else. And yeah, this wouldn't have worked on any other platform at the time. And I think it's meant to be skittish. It's meant to be on the seat of your pants. You know, because like if you hit a tree, you do fly halfway down the track and then have to plod all the way back. It's meant to be over the top and skittish, and it's great fun.
I found the game very forgiving, to be honest, actually, in terms of like crashing and stuff like that. Because there were times where I was like, whoa, like Outrun, it was like you hit a rock, you're like, the car would flip in the air and the girl would go flying. This, I was kind of like flying into rocks, and it was all right.
It has to be though, because it isn't precise enough to not be forgiving.
I felt...
The speed is definitely a staple of the Mega Drive and Genesis and stuff, isn't it? Like, you just wouldn't. You're right. I know it's because obviously it's the technical hardware is the reason why it would be on the SNES, but also because of that, it's funny how I associate fast and frantic with Sega.
Like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic, yeah.
Safe and plodding is Nintendo.
I felt quite bad for that woman in the car in Outrun because he never dropped her off anywhere. I don't know what she was in there for.
So while one's just appeared, he's just crashed. Look, there's oil slicks on the road, which is fine, but they're yellow and they look like puddles of wee.
Yeah,
that's a good
Where's he
point.
going? He's running. He just ran across the finish line.
Yeah,
this
there's
guy
a video
does not
saying-
bug
in the game there.
Wow, I've never seen
Yeah,
that.
there's a
So
bug
we
in
should
there.
make clear we're watching the game now, and the guy crashed, but he
We're
was
all imagining the
he was
same sequence
to,
of the game.
He was so close to the finish line, the character just ran across the line. That's awesome. That was great. The game's gone up in my estimations from that one little bit. It's brilliant.
This another thing. One thing I don't like about this game is the music just rips my ears off. It's typical
Very
Mega Drive, repetitive, scratchy.
I think you can say the whole game is repetitive, really, because you're playing through the same levels until you level up the bike, and then you're playing through the same levels again, just slightly longer. because you do it more distance.
I was going to say that the only thing about Road Rash, and I'd have to look at what game it actually is, but I do remember this being in the arcades. And it's funny how there's games, even now, so if people don't know, Brighton is like a seaside town, we have amusements. I don't think that's a term that's anywhere else in the world, amusements, right?
Amusement arcade.
It might be.
I don't know. I don't think people in America would call them amusements, but we call them amusements where you have all your arcade machines. But anyway, it's weird how you go down there and there'll still be some old games down there. Like I can still find like a Metal Slug, and especially I was going to say Daytona USA, Sega Rally.
There's always Daytona because it probably cost about £1 million to buy that quad-linked super sit-down.
But what's weird now? But you say that. But what's weird though is that I'll still see people very often playing them and now choose them. Like for example, Time Crisis 2. I will still go to Time Crisis 2 and happily play that over Time Crisis 3 or 4. And it's weird because I know there is a game down there where there are motorbikes, and I don't think it's Super Hang-On. I don't think it's this game. This is too old now for them to be there. But I do remember playing this in an arcade, and it was brilliant. I remember the bike was fantastic to sit on and lean left and right. It was great. It lent itself really nicely to arcade.
I think the reason why you'd rather play Time Crisis 2 is because it was simpler. You paid your money, you got a blast. You didn't have to. If I sit down and play a game at home, I want to get involved, I want to get sucked in, I want to learn, with the story. If I'm in an arcade, I just want a quick blast, keep it simple.
That's a good point.
Whereas those games like Daytona, you race your mates, go round, boom, someone wins, everyone's happy. It's a quick hit of entertainment.
I think that's why there's all these comparisons drawn between classic arcade games and free-to-play games of now. Because you're essentially paying for sort of increments of play. It's not like an in-depth game. I think that's why they've taken off so much more than long-play games on mobile.
It's also, sorry, I was just going to say, when you're in if you're in an arcade or something, it's kind of like going to the cinema, in that it's sort of the experience that counts rather than the actual content.
Yeah.
And I think your standards are maybe a little bit lower because it's sort of the whole getting in and doing it and being on the bike. Yeah.
Talking loosely of pay to play, when we were in the pub the other day, and I put a shiny pound into that pinball machine. Yeah. How many credits did we get from that?
It's like 10.
It's I got bored, started playing pool. Anthony then played and got bored. I finished playing pools.
The graphics are incredible though.
On a pinball machine or on pool.
The physics.
Stole that joke from The Simpsons, by the way, just so you all know. But yeah, still good. Physics were good as well.
Physics were great on the pinball table. Oh, all right.
What was the storyline like?
It was Street Fighter 2, so you had to knock over, you had to hit buttons, and then you defeated someone, and invariably Jack moaned because the ball went straight down the flippers. And
I was flying out of an airport recently, and there was an arcade machine for the TV show 24, just sitting in one of the exit gates, like Gate 62. There was a pinball machine for 24, the TV show. And I was like, weird thing to have, just sitting there.
Especially since it's terrorist attack.
Yeah, no, it was really strange, but that's not very interesting for the listeners. But anyway,
Jack Spot's pinball machine.
Yeah, I've only just noticed, and this is really bad actually. Looking at the game on screen, there's a health bar for your bike.
Yes.
Didn't notice that. I mean, that's really stupid.
Did you think that was a young man called Bike you were playing against?
Well, I never got threatened by the people punching me. It never really actually got on my nerves enough.
No, the bike is when your bike energy goes down when you crash. Your energy goes down when you take a slap.
Yeah, on the left you got the players, but that goes up again when you you sort of recover. But I think it's probably more for the much later levels. Maybe they're a bit harsher with the AI.
Yeah.
Because when I was playing it, I mean, it's not a game that has much longevity, like you said. But they do have, which kind of blew my mind because I'd forgotten about it, the progression system. Because you're racing until you can buy a better bike. And as soon as I saw that, it really excited me because I saw the most expensive bike. I was like, I want that bike.
So bad.
But then you realise you're playing the same levels over and over again just with a new bike. It's not the same.
Just a bit quicker.
One thing I will give this game that I definitely hadn't seen in this kind of graphics as well was the way that it was very the landscape was up and down to the point where your bike could even launch. Where off the top of my head, Outrun didn't do that, did it?
No, it was all
Space
flat.
Harrier certainly didn't do that. Hang-On didn't do that.
In a jetpack in Space Harrier?
Yeah.
You couldn't really launch.
You were really up and down, yeah.
No, I think the programming taken to do this is impressive. The speed and kind of level of detail and the sprite scaling, and it all seems there's nothing. I mean, it looks lumpy now, but
well, from what I read, I got the impression
it looks really beautiful. Actually, I think visually it's aged very well. I'm not being sarcastic. I like the way that the horizon kind of goes into the skybox style background.
There's a lot of moving parts, which is silly to say because we've got 3D games now.
It's got a really nice art style. It actually combines realism and kind of the stylistic cartoony thing they've got going on really well. I think it's a looker.
When I was reading about this game, I got the impression that it was one of the only games of its time to have gradients like this, up and downs, essentially hills, because that meant you didn't necessarily see what was coming, which is another reason I likened it to Burnout, because that was a lot of surprise, not pedestrians, but random cars that could wreck.
That
But I got the impression this was the only one of its time that had that, but I knew if I did any research and made that a statement, then someone would contact us and say, actually, so-and-so had gradients.
Did you see the police car just crashed then as well? Yeah. Sorry, I just saw the fire.
Guys, sorry, we've got to stop the show. Something's happened.
Sorry, I was ruining that. But there was a policeman following him. And he blew up. I never looked in the rear mirrors, so I just saw the policeman.
This is in the game, guys. This is in the game that we're watching.
Not out the window. Oh my god, that fireman! That policeman's on fire. What I was going to say, I was going to drop a little bit of trivia there because it was kind of when you talk about the programming. The main program was a guy called Dan Geisler, and I worked with him a few years ago. Well, a long time ago actually. And when I say work with him, I mean he walked into my office and I shook his hand once, and that was it. Because he worked out in San Francisco for one of our game studio offices for a company called Zoe Mode.
Did he then punch you in the head?
I never knew he was the lead programmer for Road Rash. And I'll bring that up later in trivia because there's a reason why I found that out. Well, there was a guy we used to work with who I was sitting there, and I was like, what was your first job in games? And he was like, I was a lead designer on Theme Hospital. And I was like, get off! I was like, I couldn't believe it. My head exploded. I was like, oh my god, yeah. You're like a god.
It must have made doing work quite hard with an exploded head.
Yeah.
It was. I managed to do it.
Well, no, he designed Bloaty Head, so he, could help you.
Yeah, he fixed me. He just stuck a Hoover nozzle in my mouth. Oh, if you haven't played the game, that sounds weird.
Yeah.
Go on, Road Rash.
Yeah, I took the liberty of playing Road Rash on the N64 and the 3DO versions on emulators. And, yeah, they just don't translate well to the whole 3D environment. It just loses the grittiness, especially the N64 version. It looks like... I don't know, everything looks all soft and floppy, and when someone falls off the bike, it's a very precise 3D sort of ragdoll physics. It loses an awful lot. I think this and maybe Road Rash 2, when they became popular, is, I don't know, there's just something about it that didn't translate well to 3D as well.
I think that the way that it's animated, I honestly think it's kind of a masterpiece because it's just sort of mesmerising to look at.
It is.
The way they designed the bike basically is like skidding back and forth. That adds so much flavour essentially to the gameplay.
It is really well animated. Like the animation has
down a bit. A masterpiece. So we look at it on a different screen.
I think in terms of animating 2D motorbikes, this is a masterpiece.
It is really impressive, and it looks like the animations on the motorbike dude himself. It looks like there are a lot of different frames in there. Like actually, it looks almost hand drawn.
It looks very, very.
If not a masterpiece, you can admit they put a lot of effort into that, Jack.
I'm impressed by how many clouds there are.
And none of them look like bushes.
There's about 6 layers of clouds.
Actually, they do all look like bushes.
I mean, it's impressive, but it's steady on.
No, I mean, it's obviously it's a small pool. It's a small pool of contenders, so it's not hard to be a masterpiece when it comes to animating bikes in 2D video games. But I think they did a pretty top-notch job.
Did any of you guys play? I think this was only on the GameCube, so you might not have. But did any of you play Extreme G Racing?
Nope.
I don't think so.
Huh?
No.
It was it was basically a cross between Road Rash and Wipeout. So you were on like futuristic motorbike style things, but it was actually on the Nintendo 64 as well.
Oh, Extreme G. Yeah, I remember this game.
That is what I just said.
It was on the N64 though. I remember playing it.
Yeah. Why? Yeah. When I said Extreme G, did you not go? Oh yeah.
Because I don't know. I thought of something else.
Well, there was a sequel later on. There were sequels. That game was great. I think that game took this type of gameplay and made it a little neater. And it works well in 3D.
Did you guys find this game difficult? Because I
not particularly.
Wasn't too bad actually.
It's just a bit long, isn't it?
I found it quite difficult. I hate controlling a motorbike. I hate going off the side of the road. It feels really messy to me. So I was kind of. It didn't suit my playstyle.
I could always get high up, but sometimes I know that the little mileometer thing in the corner, so when you're near the end of a race. But that never registered with me. I just kept driving forwards, and if I came first, great. If I didn't, then there was no distinction of it just said finished. You finished fifth, won $50. Now do it again.
Yeah, it was a bit of a slog if you didn't get first place every time. But it's kind of a shame.
But so you had no references to the fact that the thing was going to end soon. So you could be like, oh yeah, I'm having a great time, and you're 8th. See, like here, this guy's 5th, and you wouldn't.
He doesn't
like
care.
In Mario Kart, it would urge you to overtake, but here you have no concept of how far the other riders are ahead or exactly, and then the finish just appears.
I mean, there's a lot of the difference between this and sort of modern 3D racing games that might be a bit obvious is that there's a lot more joy in learning to drive properly in a 3D racing game, which is why I enjoy Burnout games. With this, there's essentially never a reason to hit the brake unless you're about to hit a barn or something. So you're essentially going forward all the time, and it's more a game about dodging things rather than a game about driving well.
Yeah, that one level where the deer in the barn in the middle was crazy. So tricky.
So
it'd be pretty bad this game if you're hitting a barn. damn, I hit that barn.
Well, they're on the side of the road, aren't they? You hit them and then you fly off into the distance. You have to run back to your bike. But in a game like Mario Kart, I get so much joy just from learning to take corners properly. Whereas this, obviously because of the technical limitations, you're not doing anything but going forward, really. It's a lot of forward and not much left or right, even though it feels that way.
I'd be interested to know, actually, speaking of Burnout, what are your guys' favourite racing games? Like, if you had to name one
Burnout.
that was your favourite, you can't just name Burnout, that's a series, man. What would the best definitive one be?
Screamer Rally 2. Screamer was good. Screamer 2. Anyone play that? Screamer?
It was good.
Your favourite...
Speed Racer is pretty good as well. Enjoyed
Speed
that.
Racer.
Big Red Racing. That's another classic.
Your favourite racing game is Screamer Rally 2.
Wow.
No, if I'm being honest, if the one that I enjoyed the most and I really, really got into was Project Gotham Racing.
That was
Like,
an amazing
I
game.
really held on to that.
PGR 2 and 3 were also very good.
But yeah, I'd probably go. But honestly, yeah, I mean, some of the Mario Karts were like, if I took how many times I played them and stuff, Mario Kart's pretty insane.
Mine would be a bit left field, and the fact it was Stunt Car Racer on the Amiga.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a weird polygon type. You were like this stock car that went around this raised track, and you had to go around bank corners and loop the loops.
Did you say Stunt Race FX?
No, Stunt Car Racer on the Amiga.
Stunt Race FX.
Was it the
Stunt
one
Race
where they
FX?
had?
No.
Was it the cars that had eyes on them?
No, that's Stunt Race FX on the SNES.
Forget it.
Jack, I love that game as well. That was so
Yeah,
good.
carry on, Neil. Sorry,
And there
carry on.
was another game. It was in the arcades. I had it on my Amiga as well. It was called something like Power Drift or something by Microprose. And yeah, it's one of those games that I absolutely loved. And it was kind of like Mario Kart with Micro Machines 2 style punky characters.
Let's not forget Wrecked as well. We all loved Wrecked, didn't we?
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's been a
Good game.
That's a Retrograde favourite.
It's not as much a racing game as it is like a...
Yeah, I mean,
shooter game.
you could throw Micro Machines into the
Yeah.
mix as
Actually, I
well.
changed my mind. F-Zero.
F-Zero?
Yeah.
that's a
Really?
good one, that's a
Yeah.
good one, yeah.
Anthony, what would you...
I can never get into F-Zero because it's so difficult not to hit the edge and then you start losing energy and it's just really annoying. But I guess I enjoyed all the Burnout games essentially for different reasons, so I think probably Burnout 3 just because it's the pinnacle of
Burnout
that series.
3. Oh, that's interesting,
Was
actually.
that Takedown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the purest...
So much fun, that game.
Okay, that's
It's-
it's an interesting suggestion there.
That was the purest Burnout title, and then they started doing the later open world
the
ones.
final level when that was a Formula 1 car and it was a 12-minute race and it was
Oh yeah, those
unbelievably
burning laps were
hard.
difficult.
Insane.
But James, why are you being sarcastic?
It
over
was.
there?
It was. I just. All of these are good suggestions, but actually, the right answer is Burnout Paradise.
Burnout Paradise is fantastic, but the open world turns some people off.
Flawless.
It
That
turned
was a
me off.
flawless game.
I was like, where's my crash mode?
Well, Jack, it was flawless, so I find it hard to believe that you didn't love it.
And I really enjoyed it. Let's get that straight. But for
Okay.
different reasons than Burnout 3, which was a more focused.
Was it one after Paradise Burnout?
Yeah, Burnout Revenge, or was that before?
No, that's on the PS2.
Four.
After Burnout Paradise, they started making Need for Speed.
Ugh.
Need for Speed, yeah, well, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, I think I was on, I really liked. But anyway,
That was one after Paradise, as far as I know.
we should fly into the trivia of
Yeah.
the show.
You mean ride
On a motorbike.
on a motorbike into the trivia,
well, speaking about
and we have to run back towards it because you knocked off by the
So,
trivia.
off on one of
speaking
the
about
trivias.
good old Burnout and the developers Criterion Games actually very often would pitch Road Rash based games multiple times, but they always kind of fell by the wayside and they didn't get
Because
to
it's
do it.
right in their wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's true. And yeah, I was mentioning about Dan
Wheelhouse.
Geiser, who was the main programmer and co-designer of the Mega Drive trilogy of Road Rash. He made a Kickstarter called Hard Rider Back in the Saddle, and he announced it on Reddit because
Such a bad
Oh,
name.
I
there
remember
was an
that.
interest, and he put it on Kickstarter. But very recently, only about a month ago, actually, he didn't get enough funding. So
Weren't there like some tech demos they released?
yeah, and it was very interesting. But there is another game that's pretty much largely based on Road Rash called Road Redemption.
Largely based on Road Rash is an understatement. Possibly the understatement of the century.
Of the century, is it? Of
Because
the
it is
century,
Road
actually.
Rash.
Oh, okay, good. It was a big century.
Actually, that is the fifth funniest thing you have ever
Yeah,
said.
it's true. No, it's not. Actually, that wasn't very funny. It's by
That's why it's
develop-
fifth.
It's by a development studio called Dark Seas Games, and so far it's got a Kickstarter of $173,000 of its 160,000 goals. So I just made it though.
I watched some footage on YouTube. It's got a different feeling. That's hard to deny, but I think it's because it's 3D. You know, they have to make the track way wider just to get the same.
It's one of those games for some reason when they talk about like people are like, oh, I wish someone made that game. Road Rash does come up quite a lot. There's something about like being on a bike and punching people that everyone seems to really want to do.
There's something about playing a game when you're a kid that somebody really wants to relive, I think.
But it's weird how this is one of the ones that I often will see, like on Reddit, someone will post like, I wish someone remake this game. And it made me laugh because when the developer actually turned around and said, oh, okay, yeah, I will do it, he didn't get enough funding. So it's like, so clearly there's not enough demand to do it.
I think it's because he called it Hard Rider Back in the Saddle, which it sounds more like a sex dungeon for me.
That's a good point.
Brokeback Mountain 2, Hard Rider, back in the saddle.
Exactly.
I'd love to you guys all come around and play a bit of Hard Rider.
Road Redemption is a much better name for a Road Rash style game.
Boys, get back in the saddle.
And how could the guy who designed Road Rash not use Road Redemption or something similar? He had to go for Hard Rider Back in the Saddle.
Rash Road.
He should have gone for like rougher rash or something.
Road rashes.
The rash is spreading.
Yeah,
Motorcycle sandpaper.
Road Rash 15, the rash is spreading.
Road Rash.
Put some ointment on that rash.
full body rash. And that was all the trivia I had, so yeah, not very interesting. Let's go into the retrograde part of the show.
Yeah, things with two wheels, please.
No, rashes.
Things with two wheels.
Are there things with two wheels that aren't motorbikes?
Bicycles.
I was going
Two
to
unicycles.
Two strapped together.
Half a car.
With a sort of frame in the middle.
a car.
Okay, things with wheels then.
All right, I'm gonna things with wheels. I'm gonna
Oh, no.
I'm gonna say it's like an old person because they have wheels, didn't they?
Do
Would
they?
you care to clarify that statement?
Punchline, because this game's like an old person. Its mechanics are gone.
No,
Wait,
but why
why do they
do
have
old
wheels?
people have wheels?
Because they're about they're soon to die. They have a wheel, as in WILL.
Oh.
Joke.
Wheels.
Anyway,
Okay.
Jack, it's funny because Charlotte and I have been watching the original British The Office
Yeah.
today, and that was exactly the type of thing that David
That
Brent
one.
would have said and done. You would have said wheel, and then gone joke, and pointed at everyone individually.
The problem is most of us
I was
pronounce
pointing at the listener.
most of us pronounce will and wheel differently, so
Wheel,
I'm not
yeah.
sure how well that joke works.
Well, they've got wheels. So
Wheels.
anyway, but yeah, because
I
it's
must make my wheel.
like an old person with wheels. You know, who's
I thought you
past its sell
were
by
going to
date.
be all like because they're crippled and stuff.
Probably looked good once back in the day, but now Doris has let herself go and it doesn't look good anymore. Not aged
Jack.
well.
Doris, not Doris.
and
Stop
the
slagging
mechanics-
off Doris.
And the mechanics are a bit rough.
Doris
rusty.
speaks very highly of you.
I'm
Jack.
never going to ask Doris to climb a ladder. I'm not
She's
gonna ask
always
this game
talking
to
about how
either.
nice you are to her.
I
This
know,
will break
yeah.
her heart.
She says she's looking forward to having you out for dinner.
This is going to be tragic. She listens to every show, you know that.
She's got so many stories
Well,
to tell
I'd
you.
make an excuse and then go and play Burnout.
Yeah, well, Doris can hear everything you're saying, Jack, so you might want to be a bit nicer to her.
Well, I mean, like
It's
I said,
ridiculous.
she's got some nice qualities. She's still got the speed.
She's got some nice qualities.
She's still got the speed when it comes to baking and things like that, just like Road Rash.
Baking
But-
speed, yeah.
Yeah, but apart from that, no. So
She's probably got
yeah.
rashes.
So it's an old woman.
God,
Who's next with
this
wheels?
is a
I
tragic
can go
episode.
I can go next because it's, you know, those games that Victorian kids play and it's knocking a wheel down the road with a stick.
Stick and hoop.
Yeah, stick and hoop.
Hoop and stick.
This game is stick and hoop because it's old. It's probably a bit crap if you're a child now, but it has its purpose and it was fun and you can play with it quickly and then go home.
There's a thrill there, isn't there, to a stick and hoop? Once it gets going,
Yeah, I know,
You
right?
said that without taking your eyes off the screen. You just said he went stick a hoop.
the listeners don't see that.
As if you're going to look around and go, who's got one, who's got one, who's got one? It's got really
Yeah,
excited.
so I
Sorry.
rate this game Victorian stick and hoop.
Oh, Victorian angle. I like it actually.
think that's
in,
good, yeah.
in Victorian times, they used to have dogs that they'd put in wheels, and these wheels, the dogs would walk in these wheels like hamsters and wheels, and they would turn meat that was being cooked
Oh, yeah.
so that it would cook evenly. So that's what I'm giving this game, the dog wheel from Victorian times to cook meat well.
Did they really have that?
Yeah,
Why
they were
they
called
use-
like meat wheel dogs or something.
That's where...
Why did
They
they
had
use
specific dogs.
I'm
No, because
pretty
the dogs
sure
could do
that's-
it.
Yeah, that's the term where hot dog comes from. So the dog would get really tired and it would get overheated.
It's also where McDonald's comes from.
yeah. And wiener as well.
Yeah, and
Because they make sausages.
Parliament.
Because
so
I'll
that
have a
is-
wiener because
Wait.
the wiener's in the wheel.
That's also where McDonald's comes from.
Yeah, the guy who invented the wheel, old McDonald,
He
on
had a
his
farm.
farm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, I feel like everything you're saying is nonsensical.
Not
Well,
None.
that's the rating the
Yeah,
game's
I'm pretty
getting,
sure in
so.
Victorian times they would just eat
Okay,
dog.
so we got Doris stick and hoop, Doris stick and hoop, and a dog wheel,
The hot dog.
and a hot dog.
I'm going for one of those not motorbikes. That's a really bad rating of a motorbike
I'm
game
going for a mobile.
because it's got motorbikes in it. I'm going for one of those mountain bikes where they sort of don't use the seat ever and they stand you up on it the entire
Oh,
time
yeah.
and doing those crazy jumps. And they had one of those guys on Britain's Got Talent and he completely fluffed it.
You're motocross.
Yeah, but like bicycles though.
BMX.
Not the motorbike. Yeah, but the ones that are like mountain bikes.
Red Bull X.
Yeah.
And they're doing a lot of jumping on boulders and stuff because it's really exciting to look at. And I couldn't do it. And it's impressive. And it's got 2 wheels.
Sweet. Yeah, that's nice. Sounds really good.
A bike, Doris, a stick and a hoop, and a hot dog.
Sounds like a party to me.
I prefer Victorian dog and wheel. It's just a bit more descriptive.
Yeah,
But
Victorian dog in.
have you guys seen the GoPro videos of that guy like mountain biking? It's like competitive mountain biking. He's doing it down one of the courses, and it's like literally about 4 inches wide with like
That
a
sort of thing,
sheer
yeah.
cliff on each side.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I choose that sort of thing because it's exciting to look at.
Yeah.
I'm glad to do that because it means I never have to do those things anyway. I just experience them.
Whereas before you would have had to have done them.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll do that one day. I wonder if GoPro will be able to do something that's like a Oculus Rift style where the camera will be able to capture 360.
Oh, that would be cool.
Because that'd be incredible. Imagine sitting on an Oculus Rift going,
Oh, that would be well cool.
Means you can use Google Maps to, like, you know, why go on holiday? You just sit with an Oculus Rift and Google Maps.
Just sit in your dark room with
You
a
just-
computer on your head.
You just walk into Jack's room and he's sitting there with an Oculus Rift on his face, just screaming constantly. He's like, I feel like I was really going down that mountain. That was terrifying.
the people will be like, have you ever been mountain biking? No, I've not. Oh, wait, I kind of have though, actually. Yeah, I can't remember. Was I there or not? Is that good?
It's that good.
Is that good? I wonder if you'd burn any extra calories.
No.
Because
Maybe your brain
body would
activity.
be like going, "Ugh."
Your brain activity maybe would account for extra calories, but not.
Yeah, I'll picture the GoPro people.
Unless you're constantly dodging things that are coming at you from the mountain.
Yeah, let us know how it goes, Jack.
Yeah, they love me. Yeah, so that's everything. So thanks for listening. You can find all information, all links regarding this podcast, as well as all our other sister podcasts at psychon.net, at csicon.net. So make sure to check it out. And as you heard at the start of the show, with our new fancy bumper at the start, we're also on the Patreon network. So make sure to head over to psychon.tv and become a patron of our show and support us. We're going to be back in 2 weeks with Lemmings, although I wrote it in my notes as Whelmings, which is quite funny. But yeah, Lemmings, which was chosen by Lizanne, and she's not here. I think she's chosen it because she likes to push lemmings off cliffs, is what I remember hearing from her.
She's at least once explained that to me quite clearly, that she likes to
Do
push
you know it's
lemmings
an
off
urban
cliffs.
legend? Oh, maybe I should say this for the trivia next week.
Yeah,
Everybody
so
knows
true.
it.
It was Disney. Disney just chased them off a cliff. And they
Chased
said-
them off the lift.
No, it's true.
Walt Disney himself chased a bunch of lemmings
Disney
off
were
a cliff.
filming a nature documentary about lemmings, and it was getting a bit boring, so they wanted to spice it up. And they literally got some of the researchers to herd the lemmings to a cliff, and they would say the homes would throw themselves off to control the population.
And then they got green
it
hair
was
and
rubbish.
blue
It was just
dressing
them.
on.
They just chased them off a cliff.
Is that for real, or are you making this up?
I will research that, and I will update
Please
you
do research
next
it.
episode, listeners. So if you want to find out if that's true, don't go to Google. Just wait for me to tell you in 2 weeks. Be like the old days.
Faster than Google too.
She could have picked Lemmings because I bothered her about you've not done Lemmings yet. And I used to love it, so that might be me by proxy.
We have also had some people on Twitter. haven't we?
Oh, the most popular games we've ever, like, when we first started, people saying, do this game, was always Worms and Lemmings. We've done Worms, and now we're
You
doing
have to do
Lemmings.
the Amiga
Shut up,
version.
will
You
you?
have to do the Amiga version, by the way.
I'll be doing the Atari ST version.
Yeah,
because it was far superior.
don't do the PC one.
PC version for me. I'm a
No,
master
no, no.
race.
I'm going to do the Xbox One version.
What flockers?
My mate of mine actually randomly had a ZX Spectrum version of Lemmings. The colour clash was so horrendous. The backgrounds were just this like mush, and then the Lemmings were just little black shadows.
I'm really looking forward to Lemmings again, because it was a fantastic game.
Tell us why.
Well, let me tell you about Lemmings, right? Okay, so Lemmings is now. We'll say that for next episode. I know you were getting excited out there listening to me
I
saying
was.
that, but yeah, no, it's not going to happen. Not you, the listeners. Don't care about you getting excited.
I was going to jump off a cliff. I was so excited.
Hey,
Anthony's population control.
There's too many me.
population of 1. Anyway, so it's goodbye from me, Jack Marshall. Goodbye from Anthony Hobday.
Goodbye.
Goodbye from Neil Skinner.
Bye.
And goodbye from James McFadden.
My experience with the Oculus Rift kind of made me want to look into some of the games that were going to be using it. And so I've been doing a lot of, not research, but I've been watching videos and stuff of Star Citizen. Is the game called Star Citizen? I think so. And Elite Dangerous, both of which are going to use Oculus and look pretty cool. But Elite Dangerous looks much better. So if you're considering funding either, like buying into the beta, go with Elite Dangerous because Star Citizen is a bit shitter.